Over to you, Naveen. Naveen, you mentioned a very wonderful point in the last round. You mentioned that when you started this company, NLP Core, you were thinking and you were expecting that Google's and Microsoft's and Facebook's will not do what you're doing. That is one philosophy of starting an idea which these people will not be able to replicate or will not want to get into. That's one philosophy of starting a venture. A second philosophy which I have come across in the last few years is people are trying to solve small problems which, let's say, Google's, Facebook, Microsoft's, and Amazon are not solving, and they would acquire you in 5 years because they would want to do something which you have done. So, like, imagining that gap which they're not doing, and tomorrow you will fit in that gap. After 5 years, you will be worth billions, and you will just be plugged in into their ecosystems which they are not currently aware of or not currently paying attention to. So these are two different philosophies. How do you choose one of these?
I
So in other words, how does the innovator, how does the entrepreneur in the deep tech space choose one of these two philosophies?
uh, we do get asked these questions, when we are talking to potential investors ourselves. So it is, very very relevant to our discussion. One of the things that I have always maintained is, I think, as an entrepreneur, one should not, and this is, my personal belief. So others, I'm sure, will have different opinion here. Is that one should not think too much about the exit strategy, whether it's IPO or whether it's merger and whether it's getting acquisition by one of these, big players. Instead, I think, and very relevant to our case, is find those niches or use cases where our technology and our stack can provide end-to-end solution to a pain point that the customer has and that the customer is willing to pay for. And if we do this right, and if we can make it viral, and we actually can leverage it and demonstrate it as a viable platform, the right things would happen. If the technology is great, if the platform is something that scales from one vertical or one customer problems to 10 customer problems, you know either the your venture itself will have legs to stand on its own, that you may not need those players, or at least it'll give you valuations that the big three or a big four would be willing to pay top dollars for it. So to me, uh, I would rather focus on the fundamentals of building your company, making your entrepreneurial journey. That would be, in my opinion, having something as a strategic asset. Be it IP in terms of technology, it could be a hardware piece. It could be deep tech, as we were talking about, and then finding the use cases on which you can build a product, and in my case, product and a platform. That should be our focus. Find the right set of investors who believe in the same journey with you, and then let's go on the journey where it leads us.
Absolutely, makes sense. I think that's again a wonderful perspective. I think what Naveen is trying to bring home is that uh, a company is like your baby, right? You don't get a baby in life because you want to sell it off. You are
That's
nurturing it, you are building it, you are feeding it, you are giving your time, effort, money. That's the way you give to your baby. So, and the idea is not to how to make money out of the baby. Yes, tomorrow, of course, the baby is making money for you. You are retired, and your kid is making money for you. That's good. But then perhaps you should not be starting into a venture in order to sell it out. I'm not sure if I have to use the right analogy, Naveen, but thank you so much for. I think that's very important because if you're building something for the purpose of selling it, you perhaps will not be giving you 100%. But if you're building something for creating value, for making a difference, for making a change, then it automatically will have valuations, and people will love it. People want to come and talk to you, invest, buy, do whatever. That's a great learning for all of us. Naveen, thank you so much for that.